The last person to see 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie alive drops her off at 9:50 p.m. Access, timeline, opportunity, case closed, until the FBI released 6 seconds of doorbell footage. 6 seconds, and the theory collapsed. The man on that porch? Wrong height. The camera didn't lie. So here's the real question. What if this was never a solo act? What if we've been watching the architect while the operative walked free? Tonight, we go deeper. On January 31st, Nancy Guthrie attends a family gathering. She is 84 years old, routine-driven, faithful, structured. At approximately 9:50 p.m., she is dropped off at her home in the Catalina foothills. She walks inside. The door closes, and for 14 hours, there is silence. The next morning, she misses her virtual church service, something family says she never skipped. Inside the home, investigators find her phone, her hearing aids, her heart medication, everything she would need, except her. Blood on the porch is later confirmed to be hers. Naturally, attention centers on the last person to see her alive. But then the FBI describes the porch suspect as between 5 feet 9 inches and 5 feet 10 inches. That matters, because in a courtroom, height discrepancies create reasonable doubt. If the man on camera isn't the one who dropped her off, then we may be looking at two distinct roles. In coordinated crimes, roles often divide. One person plans, one person executes. The planner understands layout, camera blind spots, routine timing. The operative handles entry, control, physical removal. And when analysts widened the lens beyond the immediate focus, a long-term associate surfaced. Nearly 2 decades of connection. Shared projects, shared trust, shared history. Trust reduces risk. And in coordinated behavior, trust is everything. No charges have been filed. But investigators look at 3 pillars: proximity, familiarity, capability. And here, those pillars intersect. Inside the residence, a mixed low-level DNA sample was recovered. Mixed samples can indicate multiple contributors cannot be ruled out. However, the scene experienced early contamination. Media presence, foot traffic, compromised integrity. The sample is degraded, which is why the case moved to investigative genetic genealogy. Labs are analyzing hundreds of thousands of genetic markers to build extended family trees. It takes only one distant relative in a public database. To narrow a suspect pool dramatically, the search phase has transitioned. Boots off the ground, science in control. Then there are the ransom communications, Bitcoin demands, emails referencing a main individual, a brief wallet activation involving a small transaction. Cyber investigators recognize that pattern. Test first. Observe response. Escalate later. Was it authentic? Was it interference? Or was someone attempting to redirect the narrative? Authorities have not confirmed a verified link to any suspect, but digital activity rarely vanishes entirely. Nancy's home sits in a semi-secluded foothills area. South of Tucson lies expansive desert terrain, remote stretches, low traffic corridors. Moving an elderly individual quietly would likely require coordination. Timing matters. Transport matters. Silence matters. The architect and operative model explains efficiency. It explains timing gaps. It explains the lack of visible chaos. But models remain theories until science confirms or eliminates them. One more factor stands out: silence. No public spirals, no emotional outbursts, no aggressive statements. In high-profile investigations, experienced individuals understand. Every word becomes evidence. Silence can mean nothing, or it can mean strategy. Investigators evaluate both possibilities. The reward remains active. Command operations have shifted. The genealogical lab continues analysis. The family has acknowledged painful uncertainty, and we are now in what investigators call A forensic holding pattern. Waiting on results, waiting on confirmation, waiting on a name. When the DNA profile returns, it will either collapse this theory or solidify it. Until then, this remains a structured possibility, not a conclusion. I began this breakdown thinking it was simple. One suspect, one timeline, one opportunity, but the evidence forced a pivot. If planning and execution were separated, if trust networks were leveraged, if silence was strategic, then this may not have been spontaneous. No accomplice has been officially named. No charges have been filed. But unanswered structure invites deeper examination. When the lab releases its findings, this case changes instantly. Until then, was this a lone intruder or a partnership hiding in plain sight? The next update could rewrite everything. And when it does, we'll break it down frame by frame. This was yet another shocking story, exposing the hidden depths of crime in America. If you value truth and in-depth investigations, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you are the first to get our latest reports. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know which story you want to see next. Stay with our America Crime Depth Reports and uncover the truth behind every case.